Okay, abusia yaba makwa abasonko so edeba POG Media so yembonra yensemu no abusia NPP for NPP officials NPP gurus achim mafias abusia fear and panic be achi oma abusia enye easy omo de ji se omo ante se man na ye frɛ no Domelevo no wambie na no na Domelevo obi a olidi NDC oratim no na man no sisi an Phyllis a chese ekura no enye Phyllis ketwa na nansen NPP for ayom adwen se omo be fight against NDC oratim no no chese obi aniwa obetumi a fight against NDC oratim no no ma ye ready se adibia ayese ye audit anase ayese ye de ye hwehwe mu bia abusia ombe hwehwe na ombe de ababo nti ababe expose NPP amanyoko no abusia sisi an ono no nyoma people say egu ni table so no expose leaks bibia ono no o kire say sa aye NPP for Jubilee House of one day as time goes on enche bia ebumbe pie mu court amomo who say yes omono orat untumi fight omo abusuya yensem mbre no na adon call no omo panic enye easy kwamo me enko na yenko nkotie ensem awde tuja na ansa na ebekọ no owo ensem kan bia fa share comment section like na share ma afufron so ensa intumi enka bi aha POG Media so medamase.
I was away in from the country. I was somewhere in Uganda. Since I left office, I've been doing small. I call it myself galamsey, but not illegal mining. I mean, I do small consultancy. So I got a call one morning, and I was told that the president want to set up a committee on recovering of looted resources, and they want to make me a member. I said, make me a member? You want me to cause another stay in this country?
If you want him to cause there, show some love, man. We want the stay.
So I was like, okay, what is our mandate? Then it was explained to me that, no, you are not supposed to go down and start investigating people or auditing people, etc. This is just a preparatory stage where the president feels overwhelmed with information which is coming on looting and etc. So he wants a team who he can direct all this to, so that we can put it together and sift through it, and we can bring it to him to say, look, we received maybe 1,000 or 2,000 complaints. Some of them are just information. They are not any substantive thing, but these are the serious ones, and the serious ones, some require auditing, some require investigating, some require the OSP or maybe Yoko's mandate, because it depends. If it is corruption and corruption-related issue, it must go to ASP. If it is money laundering and organized crime, it must go to Yoko. But most of them usually involves auditing. You must have to do an audit to unearth the entire thing. So he thinks that I am best placed to join the team to help with my experience. So I said, well, I've already said earlier on that I'll do anything for Ghana, so no problem. I will join. And I must say, I think that it is a service we need to render for our country, because, you see, it will be in the interest of the perpetrators for it to remain a hearsay and rumor that this has been embezzled, etc. Yes. They are afraid that now we are documenting the evidence, which may lead to further investigation and possible prosecution. So they started attacking. And remember, I always said that you can't fight corruption without corruption fighting you. Once you fight corruption will fight you. And the best form of defense is an attack. So they've started, you don't even have mandate. You are unconstitutional. Yes. You are illegal.
I condemn in no uncertain terms the establishment of a so-called committee called ORA. I hold the humble view that it is a needless committee. It has no constitutional backing, and this committee is only in for personal vendetta. If we allow this committee to continue with its so-called wild goose chase, it will disturb the governance of this country.
Unconstitutional establishment and putting together of people who go about harassing former government officials. We believe that the establishment of that oral committee violates and flies in the face of our constitution. And we want the people of Ghana to know that no serious country will entertain anything such as this.
I hope Afenyo Makin, you are listening to this.
Yes.
What's the other guy's name? What is it? John Dakun. I hope you're all listening because they're talking as if they've made you the legal authority to go after and prosecute people.
Yeah.
That is not the mandate.
Yes. The hypocrisy, where the hypocrisy lies, the actual hypocrisy. If you like, when you finish, Google and you will find that on 27th of September 2017, the then senior minister, Osafo Mafo, issued a statement and said that the government has solicited the support of some foreign companies to help the government to gather data, investigate and prosecute.
The loot.
And they were even, yes, the
Foreign,
loot.
they were even foreign.
Foreign, and they were paid consultants. That's where, interestingly, that's what resulted in the Crown Associate. Crown Associate was one of the consultants. So I didn't see the work they did. So those who engaged foreign firms those days and paid our money to them for doing nothing are the people who are now saying that
attacking
Ghanaians who are rendering free service are unconstitutional. Meanwhile, the mandate as stated by Honorable Osafo Mafo those days included helping to investigate and prosecute. We are just gathering information.
We are not prosecuting.
We have not even, the funny part of it is that I heard somebody say, when they invite you, don't go.
And so if you are a former government official and you're invited by this so-called oral, our advice to you from the minority is to boycott any invitation from the oral team. We are not going to be part of it.
Yes. We've not invited anybody. Somebody should just show us who we have invited. We don't. We say, if you have information, bring it to us. We don't tell that, come. We know of a lot of people who have embezzled or misused, are alleged to have embezzled public funds or sitting on public land, etc. We have not invited anybody. It is only when you say you have information, you are bringing to us. You say, yes. Many people call me, then I give them the hotline and say, call the hotline. They will take the details. And the worst part was last week where we said, look, some of these allegations, they may be true, but it sounds incredible. But what will happen to us when we submit our report to the president and say that, KSM is operating on government land. They've gone to destroy his building. Then government writers and say, but we send somebody there, the building is there. So guys, what are you talking about? So we say, let's go on the field to validate the information we are receiving. That is what created the problem. They saw us on TV and etc. Say, the guys are now entering people's homes and doing so. I say, which home? We didn't do that. But let me be honest with you. It was good we went out. Because if you see the extent of the loot, it is done in such an unconscionable manner that you ask yourself, what is wrong with Ghanaians? Like the agric mechanization. I don't know, I hope you know that place, near to the airport, agric mechanization. Well, let's assume that government has actually decided to give it to private developers to develop the place. Let's even assume that that is okay. But even that is the case, don't you think it is proper that the people be given time to remove their documents, their assets, etc.? They just went and removed the roofing of the whole place and left everything at the mercy of the weather. If you go there, you will see documents, including contracts, international contracts. They are all at the mercy of the weather. You will see water pumps, you will see tractors, you will see vehicles, you will see combine harvester, a very sophisticated and brand new. It has never been used. Even the steer still have the rubber on it. It is at the mercy of the weather, left in the open. And say, how do we treat a country like this? It's so unconscionable. At times when you look at it, you say, I kept saying, these are the nation wreckers. Yeah. It's not our small pickpockets. Yeah. These guys are gangsters. So you wonder, even if you bought something, is that the process? that you should use. We were told at National Development Authority, we also went there because they said a portion of the land has been taken away. We went, and actually they put up a wall, which is just about 2 feet away from the building to condone the remaining of the land. No gate, nothing over there. And do you know what? It was done between the 5th, which is Sunday, and the 6th Monday. The construction started Sunday, and they finished building the wall Monday. I said, why do you do this type of things? Even if you have acquired it properly, then why don't you take time and do things? Because I know that when you are going to construct a wall to divide and to listen, there's supposed to be some space. Is that not it? You can't even pass through. I say, what is this? So I always say that fighting corruption is dangerous, and the corrupt are usually steps ahead because they are prepared before they go into do the corruption. And one of their biggest weapons is attack. They attack till you are disarmed. And many of the perpetrators of the corruption these days, or the looting these days, have wished that it remains only a political talk. That but they are worried now that it's going to be documented with evidence. So you may like to get away with the fact that, how proving it. Now they've seen that this process which the president has put in place is actually establishing evidence against them. Because before even investigation starts, we have collected sufficient evidence over some people.
Before the investigation.
Yes. So we are just going to recommend that we need further investigation to establish 1, 2, 3. There was one instance also where people didn't get as well. We went to Labone, what they call the AU village. AU village, we saw a lot of sharing there. Then there was one Lomote family who also brought a petition that they leased government land. The land belonged to government, and they built on it, but it has been pulled down. So we passed by to see. And the story doesn't sound good. Deep in the night, people just came with armed soldiers and police, and then they say, move out, beating people, and then they pull down their building. At trade fair, I hope you are aware that the trade fair, some tell us that even their machinery was they were not allowed to remove even their machine. They just bring bulldozer and smooth everything. I said, why do you do things like this? In a very unconscionable manner. So it's disheartening. I think, you see, power in Ghana is not understood. I don't think public servants have understood the fact that the essence of the power is to serve the interests of the public. But people now think that once you are in power,
you should be served.
You should be served.
Yes.
So we confuse the public servant with a public master.
Yes.
So there are no more public servants.
They are masters. We have to serve them.
Yes, truly. But it is. But even that, you can do it in a better way. Not this unconscionable approach or way of doing things.
You said to fight corruption, corruption will fight back.
Definitely.
And you have mounted a major fight against corruption.
Yes.
What kind of fight back are you expecting? Because they have said at this small press conferences by some politicians, when they call you, don't go. It's all a part of the start.
Yes.
They're going to escalate.
They are warming up.
They're warming up.
Yes. And I'm expecting that very soon somebody will go to the court and say, the whole thing should be set aside because it's illegal.
Yes, I see it coming.
Even though I'm not sure that they will succeed, but they will succeed in delaying the process. Because if they are in court to determine whether what you collected can be lawfully used or not, then you may be in contempt if you continue. Therefore, that can be in court for some time, so they give them some time to brief.
But how does that threaten the whole validity of oral? If some legal thing can crop up that can impede the progress of the oral, what do you do with that?
I don't think it will definitely impede oral, because mind you, whatever information we are collecting, whatever data we have, nothing stops the anti-graft agencies of collecting the same and going. So even as at now, some of the information are already known to the anti-graft agencies and etc. So I don't think that one can successfully attack the mandate of oral, say that ASP can no more work, or Yoko can no more work, or Attorney General cannot function. They will still function. So the good thing is that the data is there. So it can be used by anybody. Even if oral team is dissolved today, at least we build a database. The database is there. So it can still be used. Yeah.
It reminds me, and what scares me is like how these mobsters operate.
Yeah.
You know, these mobsters, all the areas that you're supposed to take the things there for further investigation could be in the hands of some of these mobsters.
You can say that again.
And what happens when they, at that level, try to frustrate the movement?
You remember there's a scripture saying that the sons and daughters of darkness are well organized. They are very organized, even more than the sons of night. They are very organized.
Yeah.
So what you are saying ties in very well with the lamentation of the, the special prosecutor. Here is an office established to fight graft or corruption and corruption-related issues. The first one resigned, calling the president mother serpent of corruption. We thought, oh, it's Mati Amidu who is not. Then comes the second one and say, even the judiciary are frustrating me. Can you imagine? The judiciary who is supposed to be neutral.
Yeah.
They should not be playing on anybody's side.
Yeah.
He was crying against the judiciary, which means that somebody has planted people everywhere.
That is my
So
point,
you go into the police, the man who you are going to report the case to is part of the team. You go to the prosecutor, he is part of the team. You go to the judge, he is part of the team. And the bad thing about corruption is that when the corrupt, they are able to loot, they become so sophisticated that they can buy all the systems. Yeah. They can buy the law enforcement, the judicial system, everything. In fact, in one of the countries, somebody was telling me a case about a corrupt person who was sentenced to imprisonment for about 5 years, who never saw the prison building. Wow. Every morning he comes to the prison and register and go back to his house. And flying all over the world. Meanwhile, he's a prisoner.
He's a prisoner.
Because he has paid his way everywhere. So corruption is a very dangerous animal.
So to what level will it affect the operations of oral?
Well, I think corruption is very difficult to fight, but with the level of determination we have, and we are not minded by the fact that we may fail. That's why we are also determined to succeed. So it's going to be very difficult for them to stop us. I am sure we will do our best, and the buck stops on the table or with the president. Actually, if the president or the leadership shows commitment, I think this cannot stop us. So we may be able to move. My humble prayer, however, and it is a fervent prayer of mine, is that we should not be looking at Operation Recover All Loots. We must take seriously Operation Prevent All Loots. We should not be recovering whilst people are still looting. It's like you are mopping the place and others are pouring more water inside because new people are being appointed into government. They can also continue the looting. Then it means we have failed. So what I think the president, his watchword should be a stern warning to his appointees. To say, my friend, once you cross the line, I'll shoot you. You will not go scot-free. And if you just give us about 2 or 3 examples, the rest will fall in line. People talk about attitudinal change and they say, let's go preaching, let's go training. I don't believe in any of those. Why I don't believe it is that there is no Ghanaian, no matter his level of indiscipline, plant him on the street of New York, you will see how disciplined he becomes.
True.
No matter how indisciplined he is in Ghana, put him on the street of London. He will catch the train on time and report at work on time. But when he's in Ghana, he will tell you, who's in Zomra. You see, the clouds are
very
true. But when they arrive there, even in the snow, when it is snowing, they are on time.
Yes.
So when you have a system which doesn't look at people, but is it is implemented to the letter, it changes everybody. That's why when people say that we have to go back to schools, yes, education is good. I have no problem with it. It's good people know that this is wrong, this is right. I support it. But even the ethic lecturer or master may not be ethical if there are no systems. But when there are systems, you don't need classes. You will change. Let me tell you a quick story about my friend. May he rest in peace. I have a friend called Nana who picked me from my house and we drove to the airport. And he gave the car to his driver to go home. Then we flew to London. The next morning, the sister came with the car and said she was going somewhere, so we should take the vehicle. He should drive. So he started driving, from right to left in London. After 30 minutes, I asked, Nana, what has changed? He said, like what? I said, the way you were driving yesterday, if you were driving like that today, you will have killed 10 people already. Now, even pedestrians, before they step on the road, you stop and smiling at them.
Yes.
Say, hey, is that Nana? You can't try this in Ghana.
That's true.
Then you say that this system is different. So the difference is just system. Put the system in place.
Yeah.
A system which does not respond to do you know me, or I'll call my father, or call my... No.
Yes.
So I asked him, why is that you couldn't practice what you are talking about in Ghana? I say,
you
but
can't get away
Ghana,
with it.
when you see they stop you, you say, roll down small, ask, do you know who I am? Then they say, yes, sir, go ahead. He said, but let's practice it here. He said, hey, my friend, we won't go back.
Which is very true, but when do you see Ghana getting there, where people will be like disciplined enough to know that if they flout the law,
Ghana will get there very soon and quickly if the leadership decides to do it. Everything resides upon leadership. I don't know where you were when Rawlings became the leader of revolution in Ghana.
I know.
Those days I was in school.
Yeah.
We left school to go and evacuate cocoa. Those days, you dare not misbehave.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
If you see a soldier
I
man...
usually tell people that back in the day we used to have selling for my car circle.
Thank you. Who dare you to cross at the wrong place? The canes you receive... Or litter. The canes you receive behind at your back, you go and show your back to your mother and you won't even recognize that you are the child. So there was discipline. So what I'm trying to say is that when we have the right leadership, like US, UK, etc., all leaders who are committed put systems in place. Leadership brings about systems. And it is that system that we go there and we appreciate so much, not because they are saints.
Yes.
When you plug them and put them into our system, they will misbehave more than us. Because the system there will not allow you. You drive at a certain speed, by the time you reach home, the bill is waiting for you.
Yeah.
And they tell you that if you pay within 2 or 3 days, there's a discount of 10%. But if you wait for 1 week, you pay the full amount. 2 weeks, you go to court and pay twice the amount. And they will take it from you. There's nobody who can make a call to say, I know KSM, so you allow him to go. So if we get the right leadership, which is ready to put in place systems. Let me give you a very small example. People talk about police collecting bribe on our roads.
Yeah.
And I say, why would the police not collect bribe on our roads? There are no systems. Go to even African countries like Malawi, Zimbabwe. Everybody knows that if you cross the red light, it is this amount. If you overspeed, it is this amount. If you do any wrongful driving, it is published in the newspapers. So they know the fines. So if the policeman catch me and I'm not in my seatbelt, I know it's 10 Ghana. So I give you 10 cedis and collect my receipt and go away. But in Ghana, it's not defined anywhere. So because of seatbelt, you are going to go to court. It will take you 2 weeks before they hear you.
Yeah.
So you just say, okay, my friend, take this 50 or take this 100. So these are system failures. So if the president is minded to arrest corruption, we must pay attention to systems, and do away with who you know business. Because the who you know does not help at all. Our system, I don't know, some call it culture, but I think it is not a good culture if it is. Is that we condone wrongdoing.
Yeah.
You say, oh, I remember when I was Auditor General, I searched somebody, and then after some time, I was told some chiefs were in the office to see me.
For you.
Yes. I said, chiefs? I said, yes. Then they came and said, look, this is our subject. You say charge him. We agree that he is wrong.
Okay, abusuawe ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway so Domelevo na yete ne nkan sisi ano NPP for no omo hu ba bia omfa omuti emfa where or say operation recover all loot say unim say well loot state property and as a Ghana sikabiana you obefe aba obepu aba nani abrena or kasana ebusuya yebra ma say moje pene kokoti sa oduwi e de MI aha POG Media so